Hey K-pop lovers, welcome back to Anyong Story. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button right now, because what we're about to talk about today might just be one of the most fascinating comparisons in 4th gen K-pop. We're going deep, we're going bold. And Monstiez, I promise you, by the end of this video, you're going to see Chiquita in a completely different light. Because today's question is this: is BABYMONSTER's Chiquita the female Jimin that K-pop has been waiting for? Now, before armies come for me, and I know you will, just hear me out. Because this isn't about replacing anyone. This isn't about saying one is better than the other. This is about recognizing a pattern. A rare, almost unrepeatable pattern of artistry that only shows up once in a generation.
And right now,
that pattern is showing up again. In a 17-year-old Thai girl from Nakhon Ratchasima. And it is terrifying how similar the blueprint is. Let's break it down. The Master and the Prodigy. When Jimin auditioned for Big Hit Entertainment back in 2012, he walked in as a contemporary dance student from Busan High School of Arts, where he had entered as the top student in his department. Top student. Not just good. Top. And yet, despite that pedigree, Jimin was the very last member added to what would become BTS. He had only 6 months of trainee time before debut. 6 months. In an industry where 4 to 6 years of training is considered standard, that's almost nothing. Sound familiar? When Chiquita auditioned for YG Entertainment in 2021, she was 12 years old and had approximately 1 year and 9 months of training before being confirmed as BABYMONSTER's Magne through the last evaluation. That's among the shortest training periods in the group. And yet, she ranked 3rd in the final evaluation. 3rd. Out of 7 incredibly talented girls, the one with the least training finished 3rd overall. Both Jimin and Chiquita shared the same origin story, the shortest runway to debut, the most eyebrows raised, and then the loudest silencing of every single doubt the moment they stepped on stage. There is something deeply poetic about that. The industry looks at training time as a measure of readiness. But every now and then, an artist comes along who doesn't need time. They need a stage. And what both Jimin and Chiquita proved separately years apart is that some people are simply built differently. Jong Hyun-suk himself has said that Chiquita possesses a rare power to instantly capture the public's attention. That's not a sentence YG throws around lightly. That's a verdict from one of the most experienced eyes in this entire industry. The triple threat breakdown. Let's talk about what they can actually do. Because this is where the comparison gets really interesting. Jimin is BTS's main dancer and lead vocalist. His background in contemporary dance gave him a foundation that most K-pop idols simply don't have, that fluid, almost liquid quality to his movement, where every transition feels earned and every pause feels intentional. Dance professionals have specifically highlighted his fluid transitions, controlled power, and expressive storytelling through movement. The term Jimin genre was coined because his style became so distinctive, so singular, that it couldn't be categorized inside existing labels. He didn't fit the mold. He became the mold. But what makes Jimin truly dangerous, and I'm using that word on purpose, is that he doesn't sacrifice one skill for another. His vocals are described as delicate and sweet with a signature use of falsetto, but they carry enormous emotional weight. Watch him perform Lie or Serendipity and you'll understand. This is not a dancer who sings. This is an artist who uses both voice and body as a single, unified instrument. Now look at Chiquita. During her pre-debut last evaluation, her cover of Olivia Rodrigo's Traitor stopped people cold. And here's the detail that matters. She performed that cover just days after recovering from COVID-19. Stable vocals. Full emotional delivery. Sick. Recovering. Didn't matter. Fans at the time said she sang like she was going through a real breakup, and that wasn't a compliment about sadness. That was a compliment about truth. The ability to make an audience believe every single word, regardless of what's happening in your body behind the scenes. On top of that, her dance ability, despite her shortest in the group training period, has been consistently ranked among BABYMONSTER's strongest. And then there's her visual presence, that magnetic, almost magnetic field-level stage aura that Jong Hyun-suk says is built specifically to pull public attention from the very first second of a song. Vocal. Dance. Visual. Triple threat. Check, check, check. Monstiez in our comment section have called Chiquita exactly that, a triple threat, and they're not just being fans. They're being accurate. The persona armor. Here's the angle that not enough people talk about. And it might actually be the most important one. Jimin is famously a perfectionist. He said it himself. Even the smallest mistake on stage makes him feel guilty. He practices until the movement is not just right, but exactly right. But here's what's fascinating. Despite that internal pressure, what the audience sees is never the struggle. What the audience sees is grace, ease, complete ownership of the space. Jimin has built what I'd call a persona armor, a stage presence so polished, so completely controlled, that the audience never sees the cracks. And that's not deception. That's professionalism at its highest level. The kind where you're terrified inside an elevator going up to a skyscraper rooftop, and then you deliver a Grammy performance that makes everyone forget there even was a building. Now, watch Chiquita. There's a particular quality to how she performs, especially on BABYMONSTER's bigger stages, where you can see her starting to build that same armor. Off stage, she's goofy, warm, all skinship and laughter and reactions that make her members cry from giggling. She's the Magne energy personified. But the moment the music starts, something shifts. That's the Jimin blueprint. A clear, almost architectural separation between who you are and who you become when the light hits you. And what's remarkable is that Chiquita is doing this at 17. The same instinct that Jimin developed over years of training and performing, she's assembling in real time, in front of the world, one stage at a time. There's a NamoWiki description of Chiquita that's become almost legendary in this fandom. People are surprised to realize she's the youngest because of her control and charisma on stage. The gap difference, they say, is large. That gap, that switch over between the kitsch offstage self and the powerful onstage presence, that's not a personality quirk. That's craft. And Chiquita has it. Generational impact. Is she the next Jimin? Okay, this is the big one. And I want to be careful here because the next insert legend is a label that can put unfair pressure on a young artist. But the question deserves a real answer. Jimin's impact on K-pop is staggering. Media outlets have called him the idol of idols and the rookie's Bible. Hyunjin, Wooyoung, Huene and Kai, and Aiki, artists from major groups have cited him as direct influences. A figure skater at the Olympics. A film director. His solo, who became the longest charting song by a Korean artist on the Billboard Hot 100 at 33 weeks, while he was doing mandatory military service. That's legacy territory. Can Chiquita reach that? Here's what I believe. The ingredients are there. The instincts are there. The star quality, genius, and high potential. Those are not my words. Those are the words that circulate within YG Entertainment itself when describing her. The question is never about talent. The question is always about time, trajectory, and the machine behind you. Jimin had BTS, a group that became a global phenomenon, a platform that amplified everything he was to billions of people. Chiquita has BABYMONSTER, a group in its early years, yes, but a group with YG's infrastructure, a CHLM World Tour already underway, and a fandom in Monstiez that is growing louder and more passionate with every single comeback. If BABYMONSTER gets even a fraction of the global trajectory that BTS achieved, Chiquita will not be the next Jimin. She will be the first Chiquita, and that might actually be bigger, because Jimin created his genre, and every sign we're seeing right now suggests that Chiquita is building hers. Watch her. Study her. Because in 10 years, when people are making videos asking, who inspired the next generation of K-pop idols? Her name is going to be in that conversation. I'd bet on it. If you're new to this channel and you made it to the end of this video, first of all, thank you genuinely. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and join the Anyong Story family. We cover BABYMONSTER like no one else, and we're just getting started. And if you're already here, already a part of this community, drop a comment below. Do you see the Jimin comparison? Or do you think Chiquita is already carving a lane that's entirely her own? I want to read every single one. Like this video if it gave you a new way of seeing Chiquita. Share it with an army friend who needs to know her name. And I'll see you in the next one. Annyeong.